Hello, everyone. My name is Brett Bieber, and this is a recording of my 2024 Slate Summit Show and Tell. The topic of today is going to be Data Dictionaries Demystified, Revolutionizing Event Invitations. And so with our very brief agenda today, we're going to go over what exactly a dictionary output is, and then a use case for event communications. Within the dictionary output, we are going to break down what the definition of it is, as well how to actually create it and put it to a real-world use. So, the dictionary output, what is it? How do we create it? Well, the dictionary output and its associated functionality creates a loop of exports that iterates through itself until no new value exists. As we can see with our example here on the right, I am changing the output from rank over to dictionary, and we can now see that we have a row offset as well as a row limit. We need the row limit, what you can set to 1 or 2, or if you do leave it blank, it will iterate through the loop until no new values exist. So what do we mean by no new values exist? Well, if we look at our three exports, form title, form start date, and then our literal statement, what we're doing is we're actually iterating through all of the forms that are associated and have gone through the filters, and we're going to grab out the form title, the form start date and time, and then associated with our URL. And so the dictionary output is going to iterate through this time and time again until you either reach your row limit or there's no new forms that exist. So when we preview these results, and we can take a look here on the right-hand side, we're going to see that there's quite a bit of tags that open and close. So the actual definition of this dictionary output, and really what it's doing, is with the dictionary output, each object is put in a row tag, and for each export for the object, each property for the object is put into a p tag. And within each p tag, the export's name is put in a k tag, and the export's value is put in a v tag. So if we come back over and we look at our row preview, we can see that we're opening up the row tag, followed by opening up the p and the k tag to where we see the form title that we saw earlier. As we close the k tag, which is the actual name of the export, we then open up the v tag, which gives us the value of the export. So the form title export, its value is tell us your training experience. And then this will be the same whether it's for a form start date or whether it's a literal statement. If there's no actual value, there's not going to be any v tags. So to go along with this, we're also going to utilize independent subqueries. These independent subqueries can be used to pull on forms, and in our case, events that are upcoming that a student has not yet signed up for. And so we can see that we're changing the type from a dependent subquery over to an independent subquery, and then switching to a related category in the form base. Now, with our example, we're going to change the output from rank over to dictionary instead of row limit of 3. A few important factors is that because we're pulling on this independent subquery, we need to be very particular with our filters. In this case, the filters of status confirmed active, the folder of testing in our case, and then on-campus events. And then we're also going to compare our form start date to the current date to make sure that the form start date is always after the current system date. And with our example as well, we have renamed them, but we are still pulling out the form title, the form start date, and the form URL. So here we can take a look at our WYSIWYG view of what this will actually look like. Now we can see that there's still quite a bit of attention to detail that we'll need to take a look at. So let's go a little bit deeper. And here from the source view is where everything really starts to open up. So within the source view, we will assign an object name. In this case, that would be result to our dictionary export to be called upon. And then from here, we can utilize different CSS techniques that we may want, including bold, adding color, bullet points, links, or whatever you may need for your information. And we can see here that as soon as we open up that for result in on campus, this is where that loop and that list starts to iterate through. And we can see that we're adding bullet points and we're adding links. And every time that we have a merge field with the result dot, that lets the source know that we're trying to pull on this object. And so Once all this is actually built out within your source, this is what the final view looks like. So based on the total number of row limits chosen, up to that number of events, that will be displayed. So it is recommended if you have on-campus events, off-campus events, or school-specific events to try and keep these in different sections. If you're a student looking at the newsletter, you don't want to get mixed up between an on-campus event or a virtual event, or maybe a nursing-specific event. So we do want to keep these all siloed. And then when there are no longer any available events, you can also build in conditional logic with if statements to be built within the source to remove the entire HTML encasing that section and remove empty content without needing to actually stop the mailing. So for example, if you still have on-campus events all summer, but there's no longer any off-campus events, you can use conditional logic to take out that section entirely of the upcoming off-campus events without having to turn off your mailing. This was a very short show and tell, but it did exemplify exactly what we were looking for with using independent subqueries and these dictionary outputs to enhance our event communications. Once again, my name is Brett Bieber. Thank you very much.